My beloved child, a shadow moves through the streets of your city, not carried by the clouds above, but by a woman whose heart has turned to darkness. This is no tale of far-off villains or strangers in the night. This woman lives close, too close, her home just a whisper away from yours, her smile a mask that hides a sinister truth. Her actions have drawn the gaze of justice, and an arrest warrant now bears her name. She's not merely cruel, her soul has been twisted by choices so vile, they've marked her as something beyond ordinary evil. Heaven itself has seen her deeds, and the weight of its judgment is falling. But here's the truth that will grip your heart: the one she's been tormenting, day after day, doesn't want her to face punishment. Yes, my child, the victim pleads for her freedom, and by the time this message ends, you'll understand why. The story is heavier than you can imagine, and its truth will echo in your mind long after you hear it. If you're ready to uncover what's been hidden, if you're prepared to see the veil of deceit torn away, give me your time. This is no ordinary story, it's a revelation, unlike anything you've heard in any tale, sermon, or dream. Lean in, my child, and let's walk into the truth together. This woman, whose name now lingers in the halls of justice, wasn't born into darkness. Her story begins in a place of loss, where innocence was stolen before she ever learned to steal from others. As a child, she knew no warmth, no safety. By the age of 10, both her parents were gone, taken by a tragedy that left her alone in a world too vast for her fragile heart. She was taken in by an aunt, a woman who cloaked herself in kindness but carried a heart as cold as winter's frost. This aunt was no protector, she was a deceiver, weaving tales of divine visions to prey on desperate souls. In a forgotten village tucked between rugged hills, the young girl watched as her aunt worked her schemes. People came, clutching their last coins, their eyes brimming with sorrow, begging for answers to their pain. The aunt would close her eyes, murmur words that sounded sacred, and promise miracles that never came. Every gesture, every promise, was a lie, and the girl saw it all. She learned a cruel lesson: grief makes people vulnerable, and despair opens doors to deception. When her aunt passed, leaving her alone once more, that lesson became her inheritance, a seed of darkness planted deep within her soul. She became a wanderer, moving from town to town, refining the art of manipulation. She learned to read the signs of sorrow, the trembling hands, the hollow gazes, the prayers whispered in the dark. She turned pain into profit, hope into chains. But small towns couldn't satisfy her growing ambition. She needed a larger stage, a place where grief ran deeper and wallets were heavier. That's when she set her sights on a city, your city. Yes, my child, she came to the streets, not by chance, but with purpose. She studied the neighborhoods, listening for whispers of tragedy, searching for the broken. And there, just 3 blocks from your home, she found her mark, a couple shattered by the loss of their only daughter, a bright-eyed girl named Lily, taken by an illness no medicine could defeat. Their pain was her opportunity, their grief her canvas. She rented a house nearby, watching them from the shadows. She learned Lily's name, her favorite lullaby, the way she giggled when her father tickled her. She discovered a birthmark shaped like a star on Lily's shoulder, a detail no stranger could know. She gathered these fragments like a predator stalking prey, crafting a story so convincing it could break even the strongest heart. One night, under a sky torn by lightning and drowned in rain, she knocked on their door. Her voice was soft, her eyes warm with false compassion. "I've seen your daughter," she said. "She speaks to me from beyond. She's not at peace." Imagine, my child, the weight of those words. If you'd lost someone you loved more than life itself, wouldn't you grasp at any thread of hope? They did. They welcomed her in, believing she was a messenger of heaven. But she wasn't sent by light, she was cloaked in it, hiding the darkness beneath. She told them Lily's soul was trapped, crying out for release. She claimed only she could help, that through her rituals, candles, prayers, offerings, she could guide their child to peace. Each ritual came with a price, and the parents paid without question. They sold their car, drained their savings, took out loans. They gave until there was nothing left, because every dollar felt like a step closer to their daughter. But her greed grew insatiable. She demanded more than money, she demanded control. She told them to cut off friends, to shun family, to trust only her. She warned that doubt would anger the spirits, that disobedience would trap Lily forever. The parents, lost in their grief, obeyed. They isolated themselves, living only for her visits, her words, her lies. Yet lies, no matter how cunning, leave traces. Her transactions were too large, too frequent. Banks flagged them, investigators followed the trail, and soon they uncovered her history. 12 towns, 100 victims, a fortune built on broken hearts. The warrant was issued, the net tightened, but here's what will shake you: the couple, the ones she bled dry, refused to let her go. Why? Because she wove her lies so deeply into their grief that they believe she's their only link to Lily. If she's taken, she told them, your child will be lost forever. That lie has chained them, not just to her, but to their own pain. They're prisoners of her deception, begging for her freedom because they fear losing the last shred of hope they have. This, my child, is how evil works. It doesn't always roar, it whispers. It doesn't always strike, it comforts. It wraps its claws in promises of salvation, preying on the broken. But heaven sees it all. Every tear shed, every coin stolen, every heart broken in the name of false hope. The courts of earth are moving, but the courts of heaven have already spoken. Her time is running out, and the truth will not be silenced. Let's go deeper, my child, into the roots of this story. This woman's deception didn't begin with the couple in your city, it was a craft honed over years. In every town she visited, she sought the vulnerable. In one village, it was a widower who'd lost his wife to a sudden accident. She told him his wife's spirit was restless, that only through her divine connection could he bring her peace. He sold his family's farmland, handed her the money, and was left with nothing but empty promises. In another city, it was a young man who'd lost his brother to war. She claimed his brother's soul was trapped in torment, and only her rituals could free him. He gave her his inheritance, believing he was saving his brother's soul. Each victim was different, but the method was the same: find the wound, press on it, offer a false cure. She didn't just take their money, she took their hope, their faith, their trust. And yet, in every case, the victims clung to her, believing she was their only path to salvation. This is the power of her deception, my child. It's not just the lies she tells, it's the way she makes her victims feel they need her. Let's return to the couple in your city. Their daughter, Lily, was their world. She had a laugh that could light up a room, a habit of singing to her dolls, and that tiny star-shaped birthmark on her shoulder. The woman learned all of this, not because she cared, but because she knew these details would make her lies unbreakable. When she spoke Lily's name, described her birthmark, and sang her lullaby, the parents were shattered but alive again. They felt their daughter was close, that this stranger was a bridge to her. They didn't see the predator, they saw a savior. Her visits became their lifeline. She'd sit with them, describing visions of Lily in a realm of light, waiting for their help. She'd light candles, chant prayers, and demand payment for each ritual. The parents gave everything, first their savings, then their possessions, then their dignity. They believed every word, not because they were foolish, but because their love for Lily was boundless. But the woman's ambition outpaced her caution. She began to target others in your city, weaving her web wider. There was a teacher who'd lost her son to a car accident. The woman told her his spirit was trapped in pain, that only she could free him. The teacher sold her home, giving every cent to the woman's cause. Then there was a shopkeeper, grieving his elderly mother. She claimed his mother's soul was lost, and only her rituals could guide her to peace. He emptied his accounts, believing he was honoring his mother's memory. Each victim added to her wealth, but also to her exposure. The authorities began to connect the dots, tracing the money to a single source. They found her name, her history, her trail of devastation. The warrant was issued, but the couple's reaction stunned everyone. When the police arrived, the mother fell to her knees, begging them to spare the woman. "She's our only connection to Lily," she sobbed. The father stood silent, his face etched with pain, unable to speak against her. They believed, even now, that she held their daughter's fate. "This is the depth of her deception, my child. She didn't just steal their money, she stole their reality. She made them believe their daughter's soul depended on her, that her arrest would doom Lily forever. This is how evil thrives, not in loud destruction, but in quiet manipulation, wrapping lies in the guise of comfort. But heaven is not blind. As it is written, the Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Every lie she told, every tear she caused, has been seen. The courts of earth are closing in, but the courts of heaven have already judged. Her mask is slipping, and the truth is rising like a tide. Now, my child, let this story be a warning. Evil doesn't always look like evil. It can wear a smile, speak soft words, offer solace. It can live 3 streets away, blending into your world, shaking hands with your neighbors. But it cannot hide forever. The light of truth will always break through, shattering every illusion. Think back on your own life, my child. Remember the moments when you felt lost, when the world seemed too heavy to bear. There were times when every path seemed blocked, when hope felt like a distant memory. Yet, somehow, a door opened. A stranger offered help, a job appeared, a burden lifted. Those were not accidents, they were my hand, guiding you, protecting you, lifting you when you couldn't stand. I've been with you through every storm, every trial, every tear. When you felt alone, I was there. When you thought you'd failed, I was preparing your victory. That job that came just in time, that friend who stood by you, that moment when everything turned around, those were my gifts to you, my child. I am the God who sees, the God who moves, the God who never leaves. Let me take you deeper into my promises. When you were a child, perhaps you faced moments of fear, nights when the dark seemed too vast, days when the world felt unkind. But didn't you find comfort in unexpected places? A teacher's kind word, a friend's laughter, a moment of peace you couldn't explain? That was me, whispering to your heart, reminding you that you are never alone. As you grew, the challenges changed, but my presence didn't. There was the time you thought you'd lose everything, your job, your home, your hope. But something shifted. An opportunity came, a solution appeared, a path opened where none existed. That was me, moving mountains you couldn't see, clearing the way for your breakthrough. Even now, as you read these words, I am working in your life. The prayers you've prayed, the dreams you've held, the desires you've whispered in the dark, they are not forgotten. They are seeds I've planted in the soil of your life, and they are about to bloom. What's coming is not just good, it's extraordinary. It will defy logic, surpass expectations, and leave those around you amazed at how quickly your life transforms. But you must trust me, my child. Trust is the bridge between your heart and my promises. When you doubt, when you fear, when you focus on the shadows, you give power to the things that hold you back. Instead, lift your eyes to me. Focus on my goodness, my love, my power. Your thoughts are seeds, and what you plant in your mind, I will grow in your life. Plant faith, plant hope, plant trust, and watch miracles unfold. Let me tell you about a woman named Sarah, who lived in a city not unlike yours. She was a single mother, struggling to provide for her 2 children after her husband left. The weight of her bills, her fears, her loneliness pressed down on her until she felt she couldn't breathe. But one day, a stranger offered her a job, a small role at a local shop. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep her going. That job led to another, then to a promotion, then to a life she never thought possible. Today, Sarah owns that shop, and her children are thriving. That was no coincidence, my child. That was me, orchestrating her breakthrough, just as I'm orchestrating yours. Or consider David, a young man who lost his way after a series of mistakes. He thought his life was over, that his dreams were dust. But one night, in his lowest moment, he prayed. He didn't expect an answer, but I heard him. The next day, a mentor entered his life, someone who saw his potential and gave him a chance. Today, David is a leader in his community, helping others find their way. That was my hand, turning his setbacks into setups for victory. These stories are not just tales, they are promises. What I did for Sarah, what I did for David, I am doing for you. Your life is not defined by your struggles, your losses, or your fears. It is defined by my love, my power, my plan for you. The struggles you faced, the lack, the pain, the fear, are ending. Draw a line in the sand today, my child. Declare that the old cycles are broken. The chains that have held you back are snapping. The walls that have blocked your path are crumbling. This is your moment, not to survive, not to struggle, but to rise. You are not ordinary. You are my child, chosen, loved, destined for greatness. The forces that have tried to dim your light are powerless against my plans for you. As you read these words, I am moving in your life. Doors are opening, opportunities are aligning, and the right people are coming your way. This is no ordinary time, my child. These are destiny moments, when everything changes. I am taking you where you could not go alone, lifting you beyond your limits, into a future you never dared imagine. Prepare for the unusual, the unexpected, the miraculous. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's here. Stand tall, my child. You are not meant to shrink, to hide, to merely get by. You are meant to reign, to rule over your circumstances, to walk in the victory I've prepared for you. The best is yet to come, and it's coming sooner than you think. Trust me, lean into my promises, and watch what I will do. Let me speak to your heart about the days ahead. The world may tell you to fear, to doubt, to settle for less. But I say to you, dream bigger. The plans I have for you are vast, beyond what you can imagine. The job you've been praying for, the healing you've sought, the peace you've longed for, they are closer than you know. I am not a God of delays or denials. I am a God of sudden breakthroughs, of unexpected blessings, of moments that change everything. Think of the times in your life when you felt stuck, when every step seemed to lead to a dead end. But didn't I make a way? Didn't I open a door you didn't see? That was me, and I am doing it again. Right now, as you read these words, I am aligning the universe for your victory. The people you need, the resources you require, the opportunities you've prayed for, they are coming together in ways you cannot yet see. Let me tell you about another soul, a woman named Rachel, who lived in a small apartment with barely enough to survive. She prayed every night for her children's future, fearing they'd inherit her struggles. One day, a letter arrived, an invitation to a program that offered training for a new career. She hesitated, afraid to hope, but she took the step. That program led to a job, that job led to stability, and today, Rachel's children are in college, chasing dreams she once thought impossible. That was my hand, my child, and it's moving in your life too. Or consider Michael, a man who faced rejection after rejection. He applied for jobs, poured his heart into interviews, but doors kept closing. In his despair, he prayed, not expecting much. But I saw him. A week later, a call came from a company he'd never applied to. They'd heard of him through a friend of a friend. Today, Michael leads a team, thriving in a role he never imagined. That was no accident, that was me, turning his closed doors into open gates. These stories are your stories, my child. The same God who moved for Rachel, for Michael, for Sarah, for David, is moving for you. Your prayers are not falling on deaf ears. Your dreams are not forgotten. I am working, even now, in ways you cannot see. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is not a distant hope, it's a present reality, unfolding as you read these words. But you must do your part. Guard your thoughts, for they are the soil where my blessings grow. When doubt creeps in, cast it out. When fear whispers, silence it with faith. Speak my promises over your life. Declare that you are blessed, that you are favored, that you are destined for greatness. What you speak, you shape. What you believe, you receive. Let me take you back to the woman in your city, the one whose lies have caused so much pain. Her story is a reminder that deception can only stand for so long. She believed she was untouchable, that her mask would never fall. But truth is relentless. It finds its way, like water through cracks in stone. The authorities are closing in, the evidence is mounting, and her empire of lies is crumbling. Yet, even now, she continues her schemes. She visits new victims, spinning new tales, promising new miracles. But each step she takes brings her closer to her reckoning. The couple she deceived, the ones who lost Lily, still cling to her, but others are waking up. The teacher who sold her home, the shopkeeper who gave his savings, they're beginning to question. Whispers of doubt are spreading, and soon, the truth will be undeniable. This is the power of truth, my child. It may move slowly, but it never stops. It may be hidden for a time, but it always rises. And just as I am bringing truth to light in this woman's story, I am bringing truth to your life. The lies you've believed, about yourself, your worth, your future, are being exposed. The doubts that have held you back are being shattered. The fears that have kept you small are being swept away. You are not what the world says you are. You are not defined by your mistakes, your losses, or your struggles. You are my child, created in my image, destined for a purpose that is unfolding even now. The plans I have for you are good, filled with hope and a future. They are plans to prosper you, to lift you, to lead you into a life of abundance. As you move forward, remember this: you are never alone. I am with you in every step, every moment, every breath. When the road feels long, when the night feels dark, when the weight feels heavy, I am there. I am carrying you, guiding you, fighting for you. Your battles are mine, your victories are mine, and your future is mine to shape. So stand, my child. Stand in the truth of who you are. Stand in the promise of what I've prepared. The struggles of yesterday are not your story, they are only chapters, leading to a triumph that is coming. The pain, the lack, the fear, they end here. Draw a line in the sand today. Declare that the old is gone, the new is here. The chains are broken, the walls are down, and the path is clear. This is your moment, my child. Not to survive, not to struggle, but to reign. You are not meant to shrink or hide. You are meant to rise, to rule over your circumstances, to walk in the victory I've prepared. The forces that have held you back are dissolving as you read these words. The right doors are opening, the right people are coming, and the blessings you've prayed for are closer than you know. Prepare for the extraordinary, my child. What I have planned defies logic, surpasses expectations, and will leave others amazed at how suddenly your life transforms. Your breakthrough is not coming, it's here. Trust me, lean into my promises, and watch what I will do.